The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Journalist Lady Ann Salem and labor union organizer Rodrigo Esparago remain incarcerated a week after a Mandaluyong court dismissed the criminal case filed against them. The two have yet to walk free after the city prosecutor's office blocked their release, saying that the court resolution is not yet final and that they plan to appeal the dismissal. But Salem's lawyers from the Public Interest Law Center said that a dismissal order is, in effect, an acquittal and is thus immediately final and executory without the remedy of appeal. The PILC said that Salem and Esparago have been needlessly aggrieved and molested by unproved charges and appealed for their immediate release. To help us shed some light on this issue, we have the Dean of the FEU Institute of Law and host of the Dean Mel Show. We have Attorney Mel Santamaria. Magandang hapon, Attorney.
Magandang hapon sa iyo.
Attorney, let's go straight to the core of the issue. When the Mandaluyong RTC dismissed the case against Salem and Esparago, is this tantamount to an acquittal already?
Well, it now depends on whether or not the accused were previously arraigned. Because in a criminal case, arraignment is the most important part. And what is an arraignment? It is at that point where the judge says guilty or not guilty. If the dismissal occurred after the arraignment, then that is tantamount to acquittal. Any further case will constitute double jeopardy, and that is in violation of the Constitution. Now, second, but if it is before the arraignment, nothing was done, before they were asked by the judge that question, the case is dismissed, then technically it can be refiled. But after arraignment, no more. But in this particular case, if you see the dispositive portion of the decision, it is an almost comprehensive dismissal. Evidence was excluded, and the case, the dispositive portion says dismissed. But there is also a point that every decision of a court can be subjected to a motion for reconsideration. So that is why, if it's subjected to a motion for reconsideration, it is not yet final. However, if it was a dismissal after arraignment, they should be allowed to move out already from where they are.
So, Attorney, did the constitutional protection against double jeopardy attach to Salem and Esparago upon dismissal of their case?
That is the one I was talking to you about a while ago. No, if this was dismissed after the arraignment, because sometimes the arraignment is done without us knowing it or the news covering it. No, if it is done after arraignment and if it's dismissed, yes, the Constitution will come in. It cannot be subjected to even a motion for reconsideration, much more an appeal. It cannot be if the dismissal was made after the arraignment. But before the arraignment, well, technically a motion for reconsideration can be made, but that we have to verify.
Attorney, the prosecution is blocking the defense's urgent motion to release the activist, saying that the RTC decision is not yet final. Is appeal tenable in this case?
That is okay. All right. So again, I say that so the question is this: was the dismissal after the arraignment stage? If after the arraignment stage and it was dismissed, there is no more recourse. The accused should be removed from jail immediately. But if it is before arraignment, well, you have that technicality of a motion for reconsideration. So we have to verify when, at what stage was the dismissal made.
So, Attorney, in the event of all of this, what legal remedies do both parties have at this point?
Well, if the lawyers for the accused is really adamant on its position that the accused should be dismissed and they have strong grounds for it, another case can be filed or a case incident to that case. habeas corpus case, but maybe not in another case because that will constitute a forum shopping. In that particular case, they must immediately file an urgent motion for the release of accused to be heard ASAP immediately if they have good grounds. Yeah, but if it was done after arraignment, oh, they really have good grounds, no? Yan ang remedyo ng akusado. For the prosecution, well, they can file a motion for recon. File a motion for recon with the same court. And just like the accused filing in the same court, an urgent motion for release. But as I told you, it will now be a legal battle, and the determining point is whether the dismissal was done after arraignment or not, which we have to verify. All right.
Attorney, in your opinion, should they be released? And if ever, what are the possible consequences of their continued detention?
Well, if it is clear, if it is very clear that there is no case, in my personal opinion, only in my personal opinion, they should be released. They should be released. No, a person is presumed innocent until proven guilty, and in this particular case, the crossing the threshold of beyond reasonable doubt has never been reached, and practically, considering the decision of the judge, it will never be reached because the evidence, the search warrant was ordered expunged from the record. Tanggalin niyo yan. Hindi nakasama sa record. Second, certain evidence were also removed from the record. And on the basis of the evidence now, how could you prosecute? There is no more evidence available to be able to successfully prosecute the case, in my personal opinion.
Attorney, we just got information that the accused in this case were indeed arraigned. So again, what are the repercussions of this?
Well, if the accused were already arraigned, they have to be dismissed. They have to be removed from jail because double jeopardy has already set in. No motion for reconsideration is acceptable after a case is dismissed after arraignment. So if that is true, there has already been arraignment. Parang ganito. It's just like this. A case was filed. The next stage is arraignment. There is that demarcation line. If the dismissal was made after the arraignment, generally it is tantamount to acquittal. And therefore, the accused should be freed immediately. The presumption of innocence has stabilized. Any further motion will constitute double jeopardy, which is against the Constitution of the Philippines. And any further detention I might just say might, I don't know the defenses of the prosecution, it is probable that illegal detention might come in already because there is an order from a lawful court.
As always, thank you for your time and for your insights, Attorney Mel Santamaria. And we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Producers may opt to import the poultry. This is because local poultry and pork suppliers are unable to comply with the recent imposition of price ceiling. Let's get more on this story. Here's a report by Shaila Francisco.
Retailers in Metro Manila are now also struggling to get chicken from their suppliers, with the price ceiling still in place. Some say that their orders are even cut by more than half.
Benta lang ng manok kasi pinipilit nila na i-ano yung price na 160. Medyo mataas lang talaga yung kuha namin sa manok.
Kulang sa supply ng manok, hinahati-hati na lang yung deliver para magkaroon lang.
Data from the Philippine Statistics Authority show that inventory of broiler chicken, or those used for meat purposes, fell to 53.72 million as of January. That's the lowest in 11 years.
Wala na makuhang sisiw. Sa katunayan, yung ibang mga kumpanya, ang pagkaalam namin, naghahanap na abroad. Dapat maunawaan natin kasi may substitution pressure. Lumilipat ang mga mamimili mula baboy patungo sa manok.
With high production costs pushed up by expensive chicks and soybeans, some producers don't want to raise chickens anymore because they won't earn with the imposed price cap anyway. Producers said they might resort to importation instead.
Gustong ilarawan na ang magmamanok, magbababoy, at saka yung mga nagtitinda sa palengke, at saka yung mga behero, puro nagsasamantala. Hindi naman ganun eh. Kasi kung ganyan ng Department of Agriculture, tapos ang pinapaboran nila yung importation, baka kalaunan na maging importer na kami.
Since local suppliers are unable to comply with the price cap, producers are worried that wet markets will be dominated by imported chicken and pork. More retailers have shifted to frozen meat to comply with the price cap. Some wet markets are reported to be selling 90% imported pork.
Ibig sabihin yan, direkta ng kakumpetensya namin sa palengke ang mga imported na frozen.
They are now asking the Agriculture Department to impose a separate price ceiling on pork imports. Pro-Pork is also opposing the DA's proposal to import the expected pork shortfall of almost 400,000 metric tons. The group says increasing the volume of imports under a lower tariff would hurt the industry even more. They say the tariffs could be used to provide subsidies instead of loans to farmers.
Sino ba namang magbababoy? Ang uutang. Alam natin na anytime pag tinamaan ka ng ASF, sarado, bankrupt ka. Anong ibabayad mo sa utang? Bakit kaagad ang gusto nilang paboran mga importers? So, nakalulungkot.
The DA says they are studying additional interventions to help hog raisers cope.
Balancing action, this is both enhancing local production, and kung ano yung kakulungan yun, ang supply augmentation.
As for chicken supply, the agency will release a report on Monday based on their consultation with stakeholders. Shaila Francisco, We Are One News.
Now, in light of the ongoing battle against ASF in the country, lawmakers are asking the national government to provide cash assistance to hog raisers. They say this cash aid may help in continuing the hog raisers' operations. Due to ASF, the government has imposed a price cap on meat and poultry supplies. This, along with the disease, led hog raisers to earn meager incomes. Now, a therapist in California is offering to release pandemic stress through breaking old furniture, tech devices, and more in her rage room. But how is this helping people? Let's find out from this Bloomberg report.
Not only just COVID, but it's COVID related, but it's also stress related to job. I think COVID probably just sort of was the nail in the coffin for a lot of us. Having the destruction room here is also a very healthy outlet. I do not encourage it as something that we do on a regular basis, but I do find that when people come in, being able to break plates, being able to write out whatever's on their mind and letting it go, being able to just take out their frustration and their anger.
Thank you for the bit of come to a place like this and be able to break some stuff and release some tension without going to jail.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join me later at 1:30 in the afternoon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.